have two boys. All they know is male headship and leadership. When their father tells them something to do, he does not care how they feel about it. They just comply and they do it because that is their father. And if he has a standard and a requirement and he has demanded something from them, they know, oh, I am to submit. And when the father leaves the house and leaves instructions with their mama and says, I need you to make sure that the boys do this, that, and the third. I don't in turn buck against, well, why they got to do it like this? Well, what's they got to do that for? Well, I think they should. No, it's just like, okay, what you need? Okay, I'll make sure they get it done. And I convey the message and say, your father has said he needs you to do this, that, and the third. Does everybody understand? And they say yes. And if they don't understand, they ask clarifying questions. Well, does he want the leaves in the front or in the back? Does he want to use the smaller blower or the bigger blower? Because sometimes he wants the big blower. And I'm like, oh, okay, good question. Let me get clarity to find out exactly what your father wants done. I communicate that with them. There's no fight. There's no aggression. There's no arguments. It's just peace, because men, when they're in their rightful role and in their rightful place, bring order out of chaos. Our cities are in chaos. Our communities are in chaos because they're reflective of the chaos in our homes. Homes that have heteronuclear families with fathers and mothers in loving, submissive, and serving servanthood relationships with each other, they're not chaotic. Now, my house might be loud and it might be boisterous, right? Because we're just in an energetic bunch. But chaos, it is not. Because when my husband comes home and there is chaos, he's like, oh, no. We're not doing this. He brings order and peace and structure to the home. That's what men do. So don't be surprised that our communities are chaotic and unstructured, because they're reflective of what's going on in our homes. And Black women, the ones that are listening to me under the sound of my voice, we need to own this. We raise these young men that are out here on these streets, that are in disproportionate numbers, have no experience of submitting to authority. Why? You don't submit to authority. Someone tells you to do something, you gotta just pop off at the back. Well, why I gotta do it like this? Well, first of all, what's your name? Who are you? Well, you don't. I'm grown. You don't talk to me like that. We see it all the time. You can't hold us accountable. You can't tell us anything. And then we wonder why the young men that we are leashing out to the world, the ones who are taking jobs as they're supposed to protect and serve, their first knee-jerk reaction is, I gotta fight. Where's all this aggression coming from? Now, I get it. Memphis is a hostile city. And from my understanding, the unit where these police officers were specifically a part of, they had to be rough. They had to be tough. Why? Because out on those streets every day, I'm not a police officer. I've never been a police officer, but my mother retired from the Bronx DA's office. So I know a little bit. I come from a law enforcement family. My father was in law enforcement. So I know a little bit about the judicial system and the court system and policing in general. When the streets are rough, it makes you rough. And sometimes, yes, you might be a little bit more aggressive than most. But what I also find is that in our community, we don't have a concept of healthy conflict resolution to where we can de-escalate a situation before it goes left. Why? Because in our homes, all we know is 0 and 10. Why? Because women who are uncovered by the headship of a man are chaotic. There's no structure. It's all over the place. And I get it, ladies. You like, listen, I was just doing the best that I could. I had to work, and then from work, I had to go pick up the baby here, and then I had to do this and I had to do that. And there's no structure. So are we surprised that our police departments lack proper structure and order when the mayor, for whatever reason, thought it was a good idea to put a black woman in charge? See, this is where equity and inclusion and just feminism, it all goes left because we're not making decisions based off of logic and reason and common sense. It's for the virtue of it all. We need the first black police chief, or we need the first black this. We got a vice president who's unqualified, and she got there. Why? Because she is pseudo black and she's a woman. And then we have to deal with the results of her incompetency with a wide open border with no solutions in sight. Chaos. Chaos. City of Atlanta, our last former mayor, Keisha Lance Bottoms, black woman, killed. City in chaos. We got tent cities everywhere, graffiti everywhere. The last time a riot broke out, we got the black woman on the scene trying to bring calm and order, as if violent men with pent-up aggression who have abandonment and daddy issues are going to respond to a black woman telling them that they need to go home. They're already used to, they don't submit to women. They were raised by these women. They've never listened to them. So now that's the answer. That's the solution. So yes, this is my commentary on the Tyree Nichols situation. I know you wasn't expecting this. You wanted me, I stand with Tyree and police are bad. No, I'm a Christian. I'm going to think biblically and logically about this, but I'm also looking at the underlying problems that contribute to situations like this. Our homes are out of order, which causes our schools to be out of order. Children don't submit to authority because their homes are chaotic, because they don't have any model for authority in the home. Mama say do something, I ain't gotta do what she gotta say. Mama gotta say it 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 times. When daddies are in the home, daddy speaks one time. It's something about the bass in the voice of a man, a a black man at that. I don't want to excuse my white brother, because y'all know I got love for y'all too. But it probably works the same way in your community. But I know for me, being raised by a single mom, having had no experience of cooperating with a man, I never heard bass in the voice in my house. I have brothers, but by the time I was old enough, they were out the house. I have no concept of a man coming in and setting things in order, not by being aggressive and yelling, but just his mere presence commanding respect. I had to learn this. So, of course, I meet my husband, and he had to lovingly explain to me order and structure and bring peace out of chaos. When he met me, my life was chaotic. Just single woman out here trying to do the best that I can. I was doing okay. I was a small business owner. I had bought my house. I didn't know what I was doing. House was just, he came in like, oh, why is the thermostat hanging off the wall? Why is that? Why is the smoke detector chirping like that? He had to come in and bring order to that house. I didn't even have a outside trash bin where I had just closed, and it had been a couple of months, right? Right. There were a lot of things that needed repair. Well, one of those main things is that I did not have the proper trash bin that I was supposed to have. And he was just like, "Where's your trash bin?" I was like, I had a Camry. I was like, "Well, if I buy it, how am I gonna get it in the house?" And he was like, "Okay, Lord, let me help this woman." And he came in and he did what needed to be done. He brought structure into the home. He redid my kitchen. He did things that when men come in, they just make things right. They help alleviate worry and fear and concern, and they bring peace, structure, and order. This is what's missing in our cities because it's missing in our home, ladies. We need to own this and say, we did this. Our failure to want to cooperate with the men we made children with, and then due to whatever circumstance, we had to raise these children on our own. And we did the best that we could, but it's not looking good out here. You know, I don't think it was a good idea for us to lay down and have, 3, 4 kids out of wedlock with 2, 3 different men. That's chaotic. Our schools, our schools are not well. Our students, they don't want to submit to authority.